All right, all right, all right. Okay. If you happen to have jumped in that fast for Facebook and YouTube, we're actually going to be Facebook and YouTube this morning. If you happen to jump in that fast, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are waiting for a few more to come in. We are excited about today's math session. Fear no numbers. Um, Give me just 1 second to make sure I'm on. Yes, we are on. All right. So we'll get into it. Good morning, at least where some are. Good afternoon, where others are. If you're watching a replay, I don't know. But anyhow, welcome to our session we're having today. Again, super excited to be here with my guest, Mr. Akeem Austin. And I'll tell you a little more about him in just a moment. But in case, because of course he's sharing this to his platform as well, if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Cherie McGee, and I support and assist parents and teachers with increasing positive parent engagement at home and in schools. And so a part of that assistance is identifying what any barriers are that will prevent either parents or teachers from increasing this positive parent engagement, right? And so that's why we have Mr. Akeem here today, because once we identify that barrier, we want to see what we can do to remove the barrier. And so today's session is going to help parents remove the barrier and the fear, which is really what the barrier is, of math when it comes to helping your child with their schoolwork. And we've heard so many parents, I used to say it myself, oh, I don't understand this math. What is this math? We calling it new math. And that's not how I learned it. And I don't get it. Or you yourself as a parent, you just may have struggled in school with math. So it was too intimidating to you to try to assist your child, right? And so we're going to help out with that today. I have been talking with Mr. Akeem Austin since last year. We
Mhm.
met. He actually saw one of my parent videos on LinkedIn, and he reached out. We were able to meet through Zoom because we're not in the same place. I'm in the Memphis region. Akeem is out there in Seattle, and so, but we had an amazing conversation around education and around assisting parents and their children. Right. So
We
this is
did.
one of the things that we are partnering to do. All right. So I just want to give you a few facts about Mr. Akeem. And as you're coming in, make sure you share. Go ahead and share because you can watch this at any time. Okay. And I know we know that most babies are out today for the holiday, but they're going back tomorrow. So you as a parent, you'll be ready when the work comes home. Okay. So a little bit about Akeem. He has been a mathematics educator for 32 years. He is the founder of Engageable Designs, which hosts a Saturday Math Academy, and they've been doing that for 15 years now. Akeem has many accomplishments. I saw his bio and I was completely wowed. Right. But anytime I do these, I like for those that I'm hosting to share what they feel is most important. But he has a lot of accomplishments. And what I love the most is even when I talked to him the first time and every time I talk to him, he is so excited. He has so much passion to help students fall in love with math. Right. And so, again, even this morning, as soon as we started talking before we got on here, he went into it. He loves math as much as I love parents and Jesus. Okay. So I know that you're going to enjoy this session with Akeem as he gives you even some of his background, because I can say, I can attest to some of the things he was talking about because I grew up struggling in math. And all through elementary, all through middle school, all through high school, math was just a struggle. I did not break through with math until I got in college. I got the right teacher and I was actually able to break through. So I no longer fear math. But when I grew up, my mom would say, oh, I don't like math. I'm not good at math. Then I began to say, oh, I don't like math. I'm not good at math. And then my daughter, I remember, started saying, oh, I don't like math. I'm not good at math. But when I was able to break the barrier, no more fear with numbers, right? And I started to enjoy math. My daughter, we come to find out she's very good at math. but it was kind of passed down to her, that mindset, oh, math, 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 right? And so anyhow, I have said enough. I'm excited to dive in. Akeem is going to give you his good. Good morning, Sunita. Akeem is going to give you his background. He's going to share some things with you, and you actually going to get a math lesson today. Are y'all excited about that? I am.
Yes, you
All
will.
right, take it away, Akeem.
First of all, Sheree, thank you so much for having me on your show. I will tell everybody, I wasn't doing any videos. I was saying nothing publicly about mathematics live
Mhm.
until I spoke with you, Sheree, and you encouraged me. You said, just do something, just make a video today. I'm like, oh, well, how did I do that, right? So I did it, and you know, here we are. So thank you for having me. God bless you so much. Um, so I've been teaching mathematics for 32 years. But let me kind of tell you a very sad story, a very ugly story about how I came to be a teacher of mathematics.
Okay.
So my wife and I, we came home from church with our children one day in 1993. And at that time, I was working in advertising marketing. That was my background. I had my own advertising business that was struggling, but that was what I was doing here in Seattle. And we turned on the television and we heard that a 9-year-old girl had been shot to death. 9-year-old black child shot to death, little girl. And I just immediately lost my mind. My wife said, oh my gosh, that's our daughter's busmate. That's our daughter's classmate. Oh my gosh, I'm at the bus stop with her mother every morning. Oh my gosh, Akeem, your mother is their daycare provider. They live just down the street. And I screamed and cried. I was distraught that something like that could happen. The very next day, I'm at the family's house, and the King County prosecutor is leaving the house. I greet him and shake his hand, and I go in. And I told the family, you don't know me, but my family knows you. My daughter was close to your daughter. My wife knows your child, family, and everything. We're connected that way. I said, I know you don't have the money to bury this child. I said, let me go and find the money and raise the resources to bury this child. It took me 3 weeks to raise $3,500 to make all the funeral arrangements, to go over to Bellevue, Washington, to find a plot to place this child in. And then after the funeral was over, I just kind of, I couldn't function. I was just, it was kind of like a breakdown. I was depressed. I was crying all the time. I was just distraught. And I said, God, what can I do to give people hope in my community such that they won't pick up a gun and hazard the life of a woman and her child that you don't know over nothing? I already had a degree from Howard University, so I got my teaching certification. So I just went right to the schools. I went right to the schools, my daughter's school. I went right to school. I stopped everything I was doing. I didn't even have an income. I went right to the schools and said, I got to be near my daughter to protect her, but I got to be in my community. And I made a pledge to myself in that moment. I will serve in my community for the rest of my life. And I will not retire from serving in my community as long as I live. I won't retire, I'll just die. And instantly I became a teacher, got my teaching certification, and I just started teaching all over the place in this community. That was in 1993. In 2010, my wife and I started something called Saturday Math Academy. Every Saturday for 3 hours, we go into the community and volunteer of our time, our resources, at our expense, and teach Black and brown kids, the most neediest, the most disadvantaged students. We show up for them. 15 years straight, 2 years online with COVID, back in person without fail. 4 months in 2010, into the year of doing Saturday Math Academy, I bring middle schoolers and high schoolers, Black children, to come be trained to teach young Black children in the community. And one of my students, 12 years old, African American boy, shot to death in my neighborhood, in my community, minding his own business. And I said, God, it's happening again? If something happens in my community, tag, I'm it. My responsibility, my people, my business. A. Philip Randolph, yes, it's Black History Month. He marched with Dr. King. A. Philip Randolph said, the salvation for a race, nation, or class must come from within. So it's my responsibility. My mother died April, almost a year, last April. And at her funeral, I said, Mom, I'm going to go all across this country teaching the love of God while I teach mathematics. And I'm never going to stop teaching children the love of learning math for as long as I live, Mama. So I'm here just to share. And I have a message today for parents. But let me tell you this, parents. Math trauma, math fear, math hurt, I know it full well. Garfield High School, 1979, a white teacher told me I didn't belong in the algebra class. He said, you don't know anything. He couldn't answer my question, so he told me I didn't belong in the class. Raised my hand. He couldn't answer my question, so he told me I didn't belong in the class. I went to Howard University. I graduated in 1985. I had a white professor who told me I was too dumb and too stupid. He said, you'll never graduate from Howard. You don't know anything. What he didn't know is I was sleeping outside, working for food, some days didn't eat, showing up to his class after working all night long. I took the class from Dr. Panda Kamara. He was from Sierra Leone. And this Black man said, Akeem, you first have to physically understand what the concept means before we go to symbolism and notation. He said, some people know math. They can't teach you. He said, begin with the concepts. That man helped me. That's my story. That's why I'm here today. Thank you, Cherie. I didn't really know how I was going to start this thing off, but I don't want anyone to look at me and say, oh, he's really smart. I got nothing by being smart. Everything through effort and determination, by being what? Resourceful, resilient, and resolute, and resolving to get good at this so I can help my people and be in my community. So this is what I do. I love it. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and it is my passion and my sincere pleasure to be before you at this moment. Thank you, Cherie.
Absolutely wonderful. I love to hear your story. I've heard it multiple times, but I don't get tired of hearing it because it truly is a testament to what you're saying. It's not like you came out of the womb great at math. So it is achievable, parents. I want you to tap in and I want you to believe from my story and from Akeem's story. You don't have to necessarily have love math, or as he said, you could have had math trauma, right? Somebody told you weren't good enough, or you may have told yourself, I'm not really good at this. I'll never get this. I'm not smart enough. We're changing the narrative today. That's what we're doing. We're removing the barrier, and we're going to have you at a place where you don't fear numbers. So when you yourself, because you're going to be able to model that then to your child, right? When you yourself don't fear the numbers and you're willing to dive in, you're going to be able to help your child do the same. So, all right, are you ready, Akeem?
I am. I'm going to attempt to share my screen for a moment and go through maybe a few slides. Can we see my screen, share?
Let's see. There we go.
You see it?
It's small, but we can see it.
Okay. Let me see if I can make that larger. How's that? A little better?
Yeah.
Okay. A. Philip Randolph, I just quoted him. He said the salvation for a race, nation, or class must come from within. And the message ultimately today, parents and people in our communities all across this country, is that we ourselves simply need to create spaces and places to get our kids engaged in mathematics, especially pre-K through fifth grade, and make sure that we're doing that ourselves. The schools have enough challenges and they need us to come alongside of them. They actually are doing the best they can, but they need us to come alongside in our communities and own that responsibility. My company is called Engageable Designs, learning by design. I don't believe that students learn by what I say or tell them, or by what I write on the board as I cover material. So much telling goes for teaching. I need you to be physically engaged in doing something and making mathematical concepts and ideas very, very tangible and real. And that's what Dr. Kamara taught me at Howard University many years ago. Engageable designs. That's our logo, the eBrain. Now, in our country, mathematics breaks out into what we call the 5 content domains. This is K-12 mathematics as espoused by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, the NCTM. And if you've heard of Common Core, this actually predates or was the foundation of Common Core. And the document that you see on the screen, Principles and Standards for School Mathematics, that's from the year 2000. It was first released in Chicago. And the idea is that our country said, let's come together and have some standards and have some ideas around what we should be teaching. But as you look at these 5 content domains, the very first 2, actually the first one is the most important of them all. Now the order doesn't matter, that's not relevant, but think about numbers. And my mantra is fear no number, or fear no numbers, fear not. Numbers are the foundation of all mathematics and science. Numbers are like the alphabet of mathematics. Like we have letters to make words, we have numbers to make all sorts of formulas and theorems and processes to solve problems. Well, if you're not facile, fluent, functional with numbers, if numbers bother you, stress you out, difficult for you, then how can you do algebra? How can you do measurement and estimation? How can you do geometry and spatial sense? How can you manage probability and data? We need our students and our community to be very, very strong and agile with numbers. So I place that one first. Some schools will call it number sense and enumeration, or just number, and college will be called number theory, being really, really deep with numbers. Now, after numbers, I'm having algebra second. I'm ranking these. Algebra is the language of all math and science. All math and science. It's the language. Symbols, notations, variables, terms, expressions. It all reduces to algebra. So in my practice for the last 32 years, I've said, I'm going to spend all of my time, or the bulk of my teaching people to be strong with numbers. And I call that ABCs. A, B, C. A, arithmetic. B, basic facts. C, calculation, computation. Be very, very strong. And then we'll do algebra. And when I say algebra, in number sense, these 2 domains, we used to call them strands, we need to immerse our pre-K5 or pre-K6 students in these exclusively. And once they're strong and confident with their ability to perform operations on numbers, they see patterns and relationships and connections, then algebra will flow. And then when they get to the middle school grades, they won't say things like, I hate math, I don't like math, I can't do it, because that mindset was never there to begin with, because we had them in programming, in spaces and places, in our communities, where we stood alongside the schools and said, this is what we're going to do. Saturdays, after school, breaks, holidays, summers, of course, we're going to make sure our students are strong mathematicians. Next slide. Now, in our country, we have something called the gap. And I don't really like the whole gapology thing, this gap, this gap, this gap, and that gap. But for my purposes, I think this is suitable. The problem, and this is called affluent here, one family has their student in all sorts of, let's say, after school programming, extracurricular activities, summer learning, field trips, heck, probably traveling around the world or doing really different things. And then over time, by 6th grade, a student who's not affluent, that's code for Black and brown people, is now behind in terms of their life experiences, their exposure, their what? Enrichment opportunities. So we have this gap. So if there's a gap in my community, tag I'm in. My people, my responsibility, right? Come into the community. I do summer camps. I work with parents. I train teachers. I hang out with students after school, before school, right? To make sure that when they get to the middle grades, that there's no gap, that they're solid and strong, and probably by then accelerated too. This is me right here, celebrating Saturday Math Academy last month, our 15th year of uninterrupted service to the most neediest students in Southeast Seattle, South King County. some of my partners on the side. I love that shirt. Wow, sounds kind of bragging, but it's just cool, right? It's in your face. Fear not. So we show up on Saturdays and we serve our students.
That is wonderful.
Now, let me just make the case here that there needs to be a curriculum. I've developed one. Maybe there's some others out there. Arithmetic to algebra, a transitional pathway. Now, algebra is a language because it has symbols and notations. These mean things, right? So algebra is a language. And we know that learning a language is easier when you're young. So let's start algebra in the elementary school grades. Middle school algebra, yes, I'm not kidding. How do I know? I've been doing it for 30 years. Middle school algebra should be taught beginning in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. By the time kids leave the 5th grade, they should never go to middle school not knowing about classification of real numbers, operations and integers, how to balance multi-step equations in 1 or 2 variables, graphing, slope, systems of equations. All of that stuff, they should be going into middle school knowing. Now, the schools aren't going to do this because standards-based education says, essentially, you do this at grade level at that point in time. But when we come in our own community and create spaces and places on our own, we'll say, no, we want our kids to have it now because why? Language is easier to learn when you're young. So you start giving them algebraic ideas when they're young. So I have something called the early algebra pathway, and it crushes it for students. There have been students in Seattle Public Schools who have been in my program from 3rd to 5th grade. When they got to middle school grades, the teachers didn't really know what to do with them because they already knew all those rules and rudiments of algebra. Those students, as 8th graders, went to the high school down the street. They're 8th graders. They went to the high school down the street to do their first year geometry requirement because, you know, they had met the standards for algebra because they were prepared. Now, concurrent to this algebra pathway, I have a focus, a mantra, algorithms, formulas, processes, devices, and tools and games that come under the umbrella of fear no number. And the focus is to make you strong, like crazy strong, working with arithmetic and numbers. But even more than that, you'll love it. The arithmetic to algebra pathway. We need to transition our students. You don't want your students going to 6th, 7th, 8th grade for the first time and learning algebra. That won't work well, especially when people are covering content too fast. My story goes back to 1972. The article on the left shows my brother at the University of Washington in 1972. He's seated in the background. That's not him at the board, that was his partner. And some African American engineers came into our community and said, we're going to teach elementary students how to do algebra. And so my brother was enrolled in the program, I think, as a 4th grader. And I remember just watching him and looking at his love for math. And I'm like, I want to do that algebra thing. So when I got to high school, I was told that I couldn't take the algebra program at the school. I was told, you can't take algebra here. Well, why not? Well, I had been in trouble before, and I was expelled from a high school. And so I have this history, this record, and nobody wants to work with me. You know, I'm a bad kid, right? So, you know, you have to be on this general ed math track. I said, well, I want to go to college, I think. And how do I do that? Well, you got to take algebra. Well, I want to take algebra. Well, they told me I had to take a test to even be allowed in 1979 to take this algebra test class. You can't take the class until you pass the test. Why? Well, my brother helped me. And in that classroom, the instructor, yes, he was white. He was really, really insulting. There probably were only maybe 3 black students in the whole class. And it's just like, you just felt the hostility from this man. And so I went home one day and just wrote about not getting help from anybody at that school. And a teacher thought it was a great thing. He took me downtown Seattle Times. It got published in 1979. So this has been my life's struggle, my life's journey, my life's passion, even when I didn't know it was going to be. This is me playing with some of my students, just playing with them. That's my wife there, with me wearing our T-shirt. I mean, it shows itself here. This is what I do, and it's everything for me. I'm going to stop my share here. Um, see where close this out. Cherie, I'm just wondering if I've said a whole lot. If anybody wants to ever chime in or jump in before I go to the next thing we're going to do here, if anyone wants to have a question or Q&A, because I do have a demonstration to do, and I'm happy to listen to folks if they want me to.
Absolutely. Again, you have comments coming in. You have Patrice Martin, who is a former educator in the classroom, former principal. She now also supports education as well, but on the level of leaders. So she is agreeing definitely with what you're saying. She's saying curriculum matters, and she's agreeing with the early algebra pathway. And so this is really, really good. We know it's needed, and I love like what you said. There are certain standards and in the school system, but that's where we come in and we're able to supplement and help as you are doing in your Saturday Math Academy with the students, and then also helping parents as well to help them bridge the gap in order to help their students. So very good, very good.
Absolutely. Well, let me have a really brief conversation here about some things that are really kind of, I think, interesting. Okay. And I'm going to go to my document camera and share that with you. So I'm going to go to settings, I think, here. 1 second. Okay. Okay, can you see me waving here? See my document camera?
I sure can.
Okay. I'm going to show you a device that you probably have seen before. And it's often set up. Let me see if I can hold it like this. It's often set up kind of like, it's not the best view, but you've seen these before, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you how this device here should be really used at school. And I'm going to turn the beads this way. So now they're represented in a vertical fashion instead of this horizontal fashion. What if I told you that this was a calculator? And this would be 3. Move that up a little bit. And this would be 23. This would be 423. If I want to add 8, isn't 8 really 10 minus 2? And the answer would be 431. This is a calculator. And you see it all the time just for counting one by one, right? But you can use this to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. It's a basic base 10 calculator. This one right here, grab it. We've probably seen before also. Let me get one that shows up a little bit better under the light. See that?
Yep.
It's a calculator. And in certain parts of the world, especially in China, you'll see this tool used all the time. What if all of our students in pre-K through 5th grade begin using tools and devices to help them understand calculation and computation? When I was a kid, I heard of place value, but I never knew what they meant by place value at first. But this bead right here is stuck in this place. This bead right here can never be in that place. It's stuck in this place. I'm going to make one of these today, show you how to make one. We'll play around with it a little bit. This device right here is a great anchor tool to get our students really, really into understanding how numbers work and how place value works. And you don't have to teach students how to use it. 0. Nothing has been done yet. Okay. Let me show you what it looks like, and then we'll make one. So in mathematics, we use braces to show a set. Squiggly braces to show a set. So we got a 0, we got a 1, we got a 2, we got a 3, we got a 4, we got a 5, we got a 6, we got a 7, we got an 8, and we got a 9. And then we close the set because there's nothing bigger than 9. You know, there's no number bigger than 9 in the whole wide world. Not a Googleplex, not a billion, a trillion, none of that stuff, right? The biggest number in any one place is 9. And a lot of our kids will say zero's worth absolutely nothing. But how can that be? 7? Well, 70 is 10 times that, right? So it is a real number. And now we call these digits. And I'm going to count these as though they're digits. And I'm actually showing you now how the abacus works. And then we're going to make one. One of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And at school, this is called base 10. It's called base 10. And the biggest digit is 9. And the smallest digit is 0. And 0 is something. And there's a lot of really cool, funny things you can do with base 10. And if I were asking you to chant, like I do with my students, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the whole thing about mathematics is patterns. Math is always about patterns all the time. Whether you see them or not, doesn't matter. Math is about patterns. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Patterns repeat. They reproduce. They replicate themselves. Now watch this. It's going to be kind of funny. Down below, I'm going to put a 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. And parents, when you're helping your kids at home, ask them questions and don't give them answers. Just ask them questions. And don't make your answer such that they got to give you a, don't make your question such that they have to give you an answer right away. Just ask. Sometimes we just ask questions. Right? Anybody like gumbo? Anybody like soup or stew? Pot of greens, some beans, right? They taste good the first day, but they taste better the second day. Ask a question and come back to it. Let them kind of sit on it a little bit. Now watch this, right? How come I put a 5 here and a 0 on the top? Well, 5 and 0, 5 and 1, 5 and 2, 5 and 3. We need our kids to play with numbers so much that they just laugh about numbers. If you play with somebody, you're more comfortable with them. You don't want to be upset with people you play with, right? Now watch this. What if I put a 1 there, and now it's 10, and now it's 11, and now it's 12, and now it's 13, and now it's 14. Oh my gosh, is 5 plus 5 10? Sure. Is 10 minus 5 5? Probably. Is 11 minus 6 5? I think so. Is 11 minus 5 6? I guess. Is 5 plus 6 11? Probably. This device right there. It's all of that is being, all of this is being said right here. Let me show you something really, really funny. Then we're gonna move on. This is just meant to be funny. Who cares, right? Let's do 12. Take away 9. 15 less 9. I don't know. 17. I'm just making up a few. Take away 9. Watch how we do it in the abacus. The answer is 3. The answer is 6. And the answer is 8. And you're done. Right here. You can add, subtract, or find divide with this device. It's crazy. So let's have some fun with it for a second, right? It's just really funny to me. I think math is funny. It wants you to see things and just keeps tapping you in the shoulder and running away until you see it. Okay, I'm going to show you the 0. Here's 0. Here's 0. So I haven't moved a beat. That's 0. Well, I guess that's what? 1? Oh, is that 2? Is that 3? Is that 4? Yeah, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 5? Sure. Can you trade 5 pennies in for 1 nickel? Probably. 5, 6. Oh, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We
slide it over. I can't slide it over. We can't see what you're doing.
The
one that you're moving, slide the.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can trade 5 pennies for 1 nickel. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9's the biggest number, so we have to trade that for a 10. And now I can air write. 1 and a 0 is 10. That must be 11, 1, 1, 12, 13, 14, 15. Trade for 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Sounds like a 10, 20, 21, so on and so forth. Okay? Let me put that aside. We're going to make one of these. So I just go to the craft store. Anybody can do that, right? Got beads. Okay. And then I get these chenille rods. And then I get these craft sticks like this. Okay. I got my hot glue gun over there. So I make a little frame like that. That's the frame. And I'm just going to get some beads and start stringing a few of these up. If anybody's commenting, let me know. Make
Yes.
the
Mhm. There's
make,
Patrice is agreeing that you utilize manipulatives to teach math. We have another parent, Sanita. She said because of her apprehend. No, she said she's saying wow. First of all, oh wow to what you're teaching, and she's saying it's the algebra for her now that her son will be in third grade. It's because of her apprehension in math. She'll probably seek to get a tutor for him.
so getting a tutor for him, I think is okay. But also, what if mom becomes his math coach? And she might say, "Oh my gosh, no, I can't." Yeah, you can, because you find people like me who will sit down and talk with you. And once your son sees you coaching him, you're going to actually be the greatest influence in his life, right? So you can be his math coach. And then once you start coaching him, the cool thing is that you're going to start learning alongside of him, having those real positive experiences, right? Believe me when I tell you, if I could find people in our communities who just said they just did not like math, give me like a month with them, and I'll have them doing what I'm doing. I don't care who they are. I'll have them doing what I'm doing. How do I know I can do that? Well, like I told you, 30 years, right? That's what I do. So if you get a tutor, that's fine. But what if you were also his math coach and you were doing math with him? And you might say, well, but what if I don't understand what to do? Well, you huddle up with somebody like me. We coach you up, and then ready break, right? And you go over there and you do it with them. Okay. So
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Akeem, because we're removing the fear of numbers today. We're not saying you have to automatically know how to do all these things, but learning alongside your child, that is amazing. I love that you said that. You learn
yeah,
together, and you, as a parent, you get in the assistance to be able to help teach your child and reinforce what's already being taught in school. So that's a part of that parenting. Also, we have to be okay with being humble and a little vulnerable, with our child to say, I may not know it all, but we're going to learn it together. And then we're gonna become better at this. I love that. I can't thank you.
I mean, believe me when I tell you, it works too. And if we would treat math like a game or a sport or just like this fun thing we do as a family, we just get together and play math a little bit, right? So we just play at it. And we don't need to be so serious about math. We're not serious about reading. We're not serious about art. Why do we get all tense like about to get a shot? I haven't touched you. I just rolled up your sleeve, right?
Yeah.
And so every time I'm doing math with anybody, I laugh like I'm crazy because to me, math is funny. It's not serious. I'm just curious. I enjoy it, and it's just something we all can do, right? It's nothing that people have to be born with or whatever, nothing like that. It's just something we all can do. Okay, so let me show you. I got these. So I folded these in half, right? And then I just kind of put the beads on. Now remember, this one here had 2 at the top and 5 below. Now, I'm not going to make one with this many places. You got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions, 10 billions. I'm not going to make one that long. I'll make one maybe to the thousands place. Okay. So I have this frame already pre-glued. And then with my hot glue gun, all I do is just put a little dollop of glue. Can we still see what? Okay, Sheree?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Put a little glue here. A little hot glue here. I have a YouTube video. There are videos out there about how to use this device. But honestly, when I learned how to use this device, there was no YouTube. There was nobody to tell me. So I had to take what I did know to help me understand what I didn't know. Okay. Boom. Got that one down. Kids can do these with patterns or however they want to do it, colors, and let them help you make this
Yes.
or make
Yes.
it with you. Don't
Yes.
just make it and give it to them. They got to own it, right?
Yes. Absolutely. And believe it or not, the engagement in making this can help with them being less intimidated as well. So yes, I
Yes,
agree.
yes. But numbers are our friends. There's a really cool book I'm going to share in a moment that you should read. Everybody in the country should read this book to their students and with their students. And to me, everything kind of happens early in life. So I just think, let's just get immersed, have a culture of mathematics in our communities and our families while our students are really, really young, right? Train up a child in the way they should go when they're young, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Now put another bit of glue here. Another bit of glue here. We're almost done. I've made, I don't know, hundreds of these over the last 20 years. Believe me when I tell you, this thing will last forever if you don't get it wet. I make them real sturdy. I mean, it'll last for just as long as it doesn't get wet, you don't step on it. You'll be passing this thing down. Okay, now that I've gotten that done, I'm gonna put some glue on the top because I'm gonna sandwich this with the other stick.
Let me say this too also, I know somebody out there, because I know we busy. We busy. They saying, oh, just tell me where to buy it. Do I buy it on Amazon? Don't buy it. I'm telling you, making it is a part of the process. It's a great
Yeah,
activity to help you and your child engage and bond. And again, helping both of you to remove part of the intimidation with math and numbers. This is an excellent activity. Don't seek to just buy it and get it shipped in one day.
no.
Make it.
And you can get Cheerios, a spaghetti, a hanger, and cut a hanger to make the rods. Make your own glass beads if you're into that kind of thing. I actually have so many different ways I've made these, so many different creative ways to get to make these. So just get really creative with it. But the one I'm showing you right here is one that I stumbled upon, over 20 years ago, and I've been making them like this. All over the place. And I'm just really generous with my glue because I want this to be really, really strong. Okay. So now
Mhm.
I'm gonna take this stick and put it on the top right there. And once you push it and hold it for a second, it's done. It's done. Right. I got granddaughters in Texas. They're crushing it in math. They're crushing it. They would spend summers with me and do math camps with me. I would coach them up at home. And I taught them how to read. I taught them how to do math with the abacus, and they're in the ninth and the 10th grade now, and just crushing it in math. And math is just nothing to them, just nothing. Because start them off like that, right? Okay, here we go. Put the last stick on here on the top, and we got it. Okay. All right. Then you got your little spider webs of glue stick, remaining, clean all that stuff up, and then you're good to go. Now, if you think we're done, we just gotten started with it. I'm gonna
All
zoom
right.
in on it, make sure we can see it, because now we just made this in front of your very eyes. Can we
Yes.
see it well enough, Sheree?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you got 2 beads up, and you got 5 below. Now, they call these beads on top the heaven beads, because these beads are what you look up to. So if these are the celestial, these must be the terrestrial, right? So these are the earth beads, heaven beads up in the sky, down below the earth beads, heaven beads, earth beads. And we have these places. So I'll just count again. And then we're going to label this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can trade 5 pennies for 1 nickel. 5, 6, 7, 8. Glue together. 9 and 10 sounds like a 10, so I go over here. 10, 11, and so on and so forth, as I told you. Now, let me show you something really, really cool that none of our kids are going to see in the elementary school grades. They're never going to see exponents. Never. Just not going to see it. But they should. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to put a big 10. I'm going to censor a big 10 on each place. A big 10, a big 10, a big 10, and the big 10 right there, right? Now, I'm going to go to the rightmost place, and put a little tiny 0 there. That's an exponent or power. Well, this is going to be the first power. Ordinal number.
Zoom out just a little bit.
That better?
And then scoot it over so we can see the whole thing.
This
There
way?
you go. Yep.
Okay. Second power. Third power. Oh, let's call this the ones place. When I learned place value, I should have learned exponentiation at the same time. But maybe the standards didn't call for it. So when we're in our communities, we'll just kind of do these things anyway. 10 to the first power, let's call that the tens place. I only knew it was the tens place. I never knew that that was associated with a power, a positive power of 10. Didn't know that. 10 to the second power, let's call that the hundreds place. Maybe I'll abbreviate that. 10 to the third power, let's call that the thousands place. Maybe I'll abbreviate that. Uh-oh, wait. If that's a 1, then I'll put a 1 right below in that place. How about calling this the tens place? That's a 1 and a 0. Well, 100 is a 1. 1,000 is a 1. We go 1, 2, 3. And I tend not to put the comma here. Oh my gosh, look. 0 power. 0 zeros here. See? In this place, there's 0 zeros here. In this place, oh, 1. Mommy, I get it. Oh, Mama, look. Oh, I see the relationship. Oh, look. Oh, the second power means 2 zeros. Yeah. Third power means 3 zeros and a 1. Okay. That's kind of nice to know. Watch me flip it over. This is the whole number side. The next side will be with integers with negative powers of 10.
Okay, before you flip it, zoom out just a little bit more because somebody may want to screenshot. Your name is taking it up. Yeah, take it up some more. Up. All right, just some more. Okay, so just in case somebody wants a screenshot, they need to know how to be able to make it. I wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to do that because I know they're gonna make it. I know they're gonna make this. Okay, go ahead.
I even have a video posted on how to make these too, so I'll share it with you.
Yeah. Please.
But it's fun to make them live, okay? Now, this side has what we call whole numbers, a set of whole numbers. Now we're going to flip it over. Make sure we can still see it. Are we still good there?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to put a big 10 at every location again, in every place again. Big 10, a big 10, a big 10, a big 10. Okay, now the 0 power, I'll put it right here. And the first power, as before, I'll put it right there. And so this will be the ones place, and that will be a 1. And this will be the tens place, and that will be 10. And that'll be a 1 with a 0, because that 1 exponent said 1, 0. That 0 exponent said don't do any zeros, 0, 0. Math just makes sense. It really does. Okay, now, on this side, I'm going to put a big fat dot right there. And I'm going to write the word and, A, N, D, and. That dot says the word and, right? Okay. Can we still see?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to put a -1 right here. Uh-oh. And then I'm going to put a -2 there. Uh-oh. Well, that's just a 1/10. That's all. This is going to be 1/100th, not 100, 100th. Oh, that's going to be 0.1. Oh, this is going to be 0.01. 0, 1. Oh, I get it. Behind the decimal point, below 1, below 2. Oh, below the fraction bar, it's a put down. Negatives are put down, so you got to put them down. Put it down below. I got it. Wait, this is crazy. I got what? $3.01? $3.01? Oh, $3.10. $3.13. The clear ones, maybe I shouldn't use those, right? See how cool this thing is, right? It just makes sense. And you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And I'm happy to come on at some later time and show people how to do that, right, with this tool. But let's do one quick little activity with it, and it'll be kind of fun because I want you to see how it's a calculator, okay? Now, one of the things we want our kids to do is learn their multiples and be really good at counting. And typically at school, people have this skip counting, right? But knowing your multiples is something that should happen really early on. So here I go. I'll do 9. 9, 18, and I think a lot of kids know this pattern too. 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, and then I'm going to start 90 right up here because there's a 0 in front of that 9. I just didn't write it, and there's a 0 here, right? So now I'm going to have 99, right? And I think it's going to be what? 108. Let me see if I can do this with my eyes closed, Sri. Let me see if I can do this. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90, 99, 108. Hey, parents, you know what I tell my students? Get in the bed and look at this. And as you're falling asleep, 9, 18, 27. I've had students literally come to me and tell me they've had dreams about numbers in their sleep because your subconscious mind doesn't stop, right? When your conscious mind does. So I have these bedtime activities I give my students to do, and yes, they crush it. Okay, let's do this with the abacus real quick for a second. So we'll do our 9s. Just count for a little bit, and then I'll show you a cool book, show you one more thing, and then we're going to see where we're on time. I want to add 9. Well, 5 and 4 is 9. And I can go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or I can just know that 5 and 4 and just push it up without thinking about it. 9. Now, if I want to add 9 more to get 18, the second multiple of 9, I can't do that because in this place I have 5 and 1, which is 6, unused. But isn't 9 really 10? Put up a 10. Isn't 10 minus 1 same 9? Isn't 10 minus 1 really 9? It is. 18 magically appears. This is a calculator. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 110 plus 8 is 18. 9, 18, 27. I want to add 9. Isn't 9 really 10? Put up a 1. Isn't 9 really 10 minus 1? 20. 5, 6, 7. The fourth multiple of 9, 36. Isn't 9 really 10 minus 1? 30, 5, 6. Wow, this really works. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you a book. People, you do want to get this book. It's not that expensive. I think it's about $12 or something like that. Let me show you this book. You got to get it. This book is a game changer. This book will change, parents, it will change your life tonight. It will. And it's called A Mathematical Adventure. The author, his name is Hans Magnus Enzensberger. Okay? Hans Magnus Enzensberger, The Number Devil, A Mathematical Adventure, right? This book reads so fast, so fun, so comical. And when you start understanding what this author is showing you, you're like, whoa, these are some serious concepts. Okay. So I have a history with this book. This book was given to me October the 6th, 2000, almost 25 years ago. And the students at the school I was at in California, at the San Francisco 49ers Academy, they gave me this book because I was doing math with them. These are middle school girls. They autographed the book in October the 6th, 2000. Now, let me show you something, right? It starts with patterns, and every night is like a chapter. So the first night's the first chapter. And remember, you can learn things or think about things if you do certain things before bed. So the author just starts talking to this kid named Robert. The author is this guy named the Number Devil. The kid's afraid, and Robert has so much fear, and he's afraid of numbers. And I don't know why they picked the devil. I'd pick an angel, but you know, it is what it is. And so look here, right? It's all patterns. Oh my gosh, patterns. And he tells this kid all the cool patterns. Wow, shows him pictures of patterns, right? Patterns, patterns, patterns. And it's just a real fun read. Whoa! Oh my gosh, look at this. 11 times 11 is 121. Wait, it has to be. Watch this. 1 plus 1, 100, 110. That 1 plus 1 adds up to the 2. So if the two end numbers add up to the middle, it's a multiple of 11. Wow, that means 132. I wrote in my book. 1 plus 2 is 3, so it's multiple of 11. Wow, 111 times 111? What's that? What? Look at this. Is this a pattern book? Let me say some more patterns here. Roman numerals. Fun read. Whoa. Hey, 5 to the first power times 5 to the first power. We never write 1 if it's an exponent. 25. 5 to the first, 5 to the first, 5 to the first equals 5 to the third, which is 125. That's a perfect square. That's a cube. Wow. I mean, just look at all this stuff in the book, right? Third night, just patterns and patterns and patterns and patterns and patterns and patterns, okay? Real fun book. You should get it. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Patterns. Patterns. And it's a story. And in the story, or as you're hearing the story, you see really, 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 really cool mathematical ideas that start jumping off the page. 1 times 1, perfect square. 2 times 2, 2 squared. 3 squared. Oh, I see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The square of 1, square of 2, square of 3. Okay. All right. That book, you should get it. You should read it. Okay, Sri, I'm going to show one more thing. I'm going to stop blathering at people. This app is a must-have. I've been using this app forever. You got to get this app, parents. Maybe Sri, I can put some of these ideas too in the notes, so I can send you links later on if people want them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Watch this. 10 to the third power. Look at what it'll do. Equals what? Oh, those are the 3 zeros. Hey, what if we had a -3? Oh, decimal. What if we had, let's do this. 8 to the 0 power. Let's do that real quick. That's 1. Wow. What about 9 to the 0 power? What's that going to be? 1? Wait, stop. That's crazy. 895. I'm going out there. I don't know what it's going to be. To the 0 power? What? It seems like any number to the natural number to 0 power is always 1. Oh, that's why we did that with the abacus right there. 0 power, right? This app is so fun. It's so cool.
What's the name of the app, Akeem?
It's called My Script Calculator. I'll write it down. My Script Calculator. This calculator will do so many cool things for you. It'll teach you so many cool ideas. And the icon looks like this, the square root of 3. It'd be like, you know, that's how the icon will look right there. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. We could go on, but maybe we could do a Q&A. I don't know. I got more stuff to do, but sometimes too, I should just kind of like not.
So this is really, really good, Akeem. And you know, as the church people say, God's done so much, but you just can't tell it all. I
Yeah,
love, I literally could sit here and watch you do this for hours. Unfortunately, we can't sit online and do that. I do want you to share because there were so many amazing takeaways, and that we removed a lot of barriers today. We really did. And so, but the biggest one is to make math fun for me that I took away. Stop being so
yeah,
tense about it. And you're right. When it
yeah,
comes to math, everybody draw up and get tired. Reading is, oh, I love to read books. But when math, it's like everybody kind of, not everybody, some, a lot of people just kind of draw up and it becomes very intimidating and, just not fun. You said make it
yeah,
playtime, bring it to bedtime, just the whole thing. And I love what you
yeah,
said about the tutoring. It is good to get a tutor if your child needs it, but partner with the
yes.
tutor. Don't just talk
Partner.
the child to the tutor, right? Because
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
learn yourself. What happens if the
yeah.
tutor is unavailable? But if you're learning together, right, in the tutoring sessions, then you can, as you said, be that math coach. This was so amazing. I already knew it was going to be, but thank you again. How can they reach you? I know everybody's not there in Seattle with you, but how can you be reached to either get for them to get more support, to see maybe your TED talk? We didn't talk about that, or just some different things. And we are going to list in the comments the different resources that you provided. But how can they get to you?
I'm going to put my email in the chat. It's actually easy. fearnonumber@gmail.com. So here it is. Fear no number at gmail.com. You can get me there. Let's spell that right. Fear no number at gmail.com.
Wonderful.
And believe me when I tell you, Cherie, that I love my people more than my own life, and I'm a servant leader. If anybody ever asks me to do anything, I go to different places all across the country. And often, Cherie, I go at my own expense. I really do. And so um, I just don't want to see our children grow up with fear about math.
Mhm.
God gave us numbers, He created them. And if you think about it, how come a natural number, the zero power equals one? Where did Adam come from? He was worth nothing, dirt. And from nothing, God got us one. There is, come on, we can do this thing, right?
We can
There's
do
so
it.
much we could talk about numbers. I know we can't. Believe me when I tell you, anybody emails me, they'll hear from me.
I love it. I love it. And again, parents, you heard it from myself. You heard it from my king. We hated math. We were told we were no good at math, but we came to a place where we learned to love and understand math. So don't let it intimidate you anymore. You want to
No,
say to
don't.
yourself, "I'm not going to fear the numbers," because with intimidation, it'll stop you from even trying.
Woo,
But we're
say
saying we're
that.
not going to fear the numbers. No more fear, parents. Okay. And again, if you need assistance with that, like I tell you in all my videos, of course, if you need more assistance with that, don't hesitate to reach out. In this, you're going to be reaching out to Akeem. All right. All right. Thank you so much again, Akeem. We are going to end it there. I had a great time today. That hour blew by. We have been on for a whole hour. Yeah, and the comments were really good. You'll be able to go back and see them and maybe reach out to those if you have
I
anything
will.
else you want to tell
I
them.
will.
But yeah, that ends us here. You all have an amazing day. And as always, we're saying my family as well. All right. You
My
all take
family
care.
as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye bye.